each session with a Joker Club by Partouche Multiverse, my friend Ulysse. We spent
Hey guys.
already amazing, crazy moment together. Jordan, guys, welcome and thanks for bringing your energy, your
Hey.
ideas in Web3 Stronger Together virtual summit. Up
Yeah,
to you,
well,
guys.
thank you for having us, bro. First of all, I'd really like to thank you for starting this initiative. Like I remember when Laurent spoke to me about this in the beginning, and it's really an honor and a pleasure to finally see it like come to life and have everyone gathered here. So I'm Ulysse Partouche. So it's actually my grandfather who founded our company. We're an institutional company of 42 casinos in France, and basically, if to give you guys a quite a clear picture, I basically came in and said, guys, how like you guys have all these physical establishments and like no communities, no digital communities attached to this physical world, and that's kind of when we started like really exploring Web3 possibilities. And like even early in my journey, I had the chance to meet Laurent, who helped me a lot as well on some conceptualization. And today we have the pleasure to announce you that we're going to be making our first collection, which is going to be called Joker Club. And the idea is to basically, well, the best way to explain it is to explain how I got the idea initially. But it basically started from looking at NFTs on OpenSea and normal NFTs, and just telling myself like everyone is saying that they made an NFT, but the only part that's really non-fungible is the graphic aspect. Because like, okay, even though you have a unique graphic token, so it's non-fungible, nobody's done it on like a an asset level. So even I was going into all these alpha groups and everything, and I was seeing that the big majority of them had the same offer. Even those clubs, it was the same offer for everyone, and occasionally you'd have like one or two like rarer, but it wasn't like they weren't each unique. So basically, the first idea was to attach a physical offer to each graphic asset. And that would basically mean that each holder would have a unique loyalty program based on the attributes of his NFT. But since we understand that this is the long game, we kind of stretch that out, and our goal is to really have the user, uh, based on his interactions, have him build his own, in a way, loyalty program that corresponds to him the most. And I'll let Jordan kind of give you guys a wider overlook of how we approached this collection.
Thanks a lot. So nice to meet you guys. I'm Jordan, and I'm the CEO of Partouche Multiverse, the subsidiary of Partouche dedicated to Web3. The in the Web3, because we think that the Joker is an uncommon character, and his place is in the casino. So we have to raise him in the Web3. So now we are launching our first collection. It's the Genesis of Partouche, and here's some details. Or in our collection, you have the supply 8888 because the mean price is zero.
Jordan,
And
excuse
the
me.
blockchain will be.
Jordan,
I didn't know
Yes.
if that was just me.
Jordan, maybe switch off your cam.
We can't hear you very well as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It should be
I
better
can.
now.
Okay, I have to stop the.
No,
Okay.
it's okay. It's okay now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, but just to pick up onto what
It's
you were saying, yeah, so we have 8,888 NFTs, and we separated our collection into four families, so spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs. And the way we decided to approach the collection is that like we were looking at all the other collections and seeing that they had different, like they most of them had this four family standard, but almost all of them had like different rarities in the family. So they'd have like one family rarer than the other. So like on a 10K collection, it usually the usual distribution is going to be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And but we realized that if we're choosing a deck of cards, like you can't make one family rarer than the other. So we're making an equal amount of each family. But where we want to make it really interesting is that we want to kind of incorporate like a Hogwarts type experience, where each family has, first of all, each family has like a specific theme and a specific values. So one family is the gamblers. So I like to call them the players, because it's like I think that it's not just a gambler; it's someone who likes to see life like a game and who can play with anything. Then there's the degens. they're the only ones who we said there's no rules. It'll be full improvisation on how we decide to build with the community. There's the artists, which are the hearts, and then you have the spades, which are the builders. So that's going to be much more like entrepreneurial people that want to like connect with us on a Web3 level, but on a professional level. And one of the aspects that we really want to push is that like we really understand that this like because our end consumer, like, you always see your end consumer as just your consumer, but you don't realize that like so many people tend to forget, like especially when your company grows, that like the end consumer is an entrepreneur and or whatever, but he does something in his daily life professionally, which can be beneficial both to you and to him. So we've really understood that it's going to be a way to connect with loads of professionals of the industry and find ways of blockchainizing our company and integrating as many utility as possible on kind of every aspect. And from that perspective, the other angle that we want to explore is also the intellectual property. So we've seen a lot of these collections like Bored Ape that have been like using and giving their intellectual property, and like the community have had like a crazy like it's been the feed. I mean, when you see like anyone using a Bored Ape to do like merch, or I remember seeing like McCain, the French fries brand, using it on some of their packaging, or just a bunch. I'm sure you guys have seen so many like examples of people using their intellectual property, and it gets a really good impact in the community. But what we realize is that like 99% of these communities don't actually have like physical existence. We have like 42 casinos, 70 like restaurants, and 100 and sorry, no, 70 restaurants, and like 15 like showrooms. I mean, like rooms where we can organize events. And so we know that like we have that leverage to deal with those people that use that intellectual property and to really incentivize them to use it. So one example I like to give, but it could be anything really. It's like we really want to let the community place the bar as high as they can. But like, just to give you guys a bit of an idea of the direction in which I'm talking is, let's say someone makes alcohol, like has an alcohol company, and suddenly out of their own will, and we're not going to be we're not necessarily in the mindset of saying, oh, if you have an alcohol company, we're not going to come ask you to do it with us. It's just if the people that we see that show their belief in the project and the community will be rewarded. But let's say that someone buys a Joker and uses it on the labeling of their alcohol, and we look at their project and we see that it's like the same price as the alcohol suppliers we're already using. Nothing stops us, and I would say we would even be glad to buy that alcohol instead of the current supplier we're using, or complementary, and have those drinks in all our establishments. But that could be like anything, because we have so much different like people that we work with on so many different levels already in the existing ecosystem, that it really opens doors for anyone who wants to like come into this community, to join our ecosystem. Like, we'd much rather work and with someone that's pushing forward our mentality and our way of thinking, than someone who's just here to like take profit from us. And I think that's what's really good about NFTs, is that like not only does it remove like middlemen, and it creates like a point of interaction, it also allows you to really like connect with the people that are already around you in a different way. Because we've been working with thousands of people. Even we have like 8 million clients yearly, but we've never like stopped to ask like, oh, who of these clients is an artist, who of these clients is someone who organizes this, who like, we never took time to actually ask ourselves what our clients do. And I think that that's the true strength of the NFT, is to like build that communication between the community and the project, and bring people in from your customer base and community, that will be able to kind of put on the lens of the problematics that you are facing as a company, and help you find ideas and develop concepts on how you can really enhance and build your ecosystem. And I think that's really what we want to work on, and that's why we also did the 4 families, because we want to make it in a way that for the missions that we want to accomplish, like the families will need to like work together to build it. And Jordan, do you maybe want to talk a little bit more about how we made the art, and the kind of
Yes, of
utilities
course.
that will be available in the beginning, maybe as well?
Yeah, of course. Let me say you a word about the multi-phase sales launch before, and after that we will be
Perfect.
the art, if you're okay with that. So for us, our history is in March, because available in casinos in all
Yeah, we can't hear you, but I can explain it if
Partouche
you want.
on
We can't hear
Okay.
you very well, but
Okay.
I'll just give a
Explain it.
quick
Yeah.
brief overview of that. But so basically, we wanted to make like a cool mint. We went back and forth on a lot of different ideas, but with the conclusion that we came to in the end is that we're going to do a launch party on the 10th of March in Forge des Eaux, which is one of our, I wouldn't say the flagship, but definitely one of our strong establishments that we have in France. It's around an hour away from Paris, so we're going to be sending buses that go from Paris to Forge les Eaux. And the idea is that on the 10th of March, we want to launch a in-person pre-sale. So initially for the first 10 days, and I mean, the first people that will be able to buy will be the people at that event. The Jokers will only be available in person. You'll have to go physically to one of our casinos. It's going to be around like the 10 to 15 biggest casinos, but you'll be able to check the availability if you're in France. And the idea is to really, we did that to really like push and help the people in our community like join the Web3, because like if some dude that's never bought Web3, uh well, yeah, maybe if I zoom back on this and I explain it in a more simpler way, is that like the majority of people in Web3 will that aren't necessarily concerned by the utility that we're offering will be there mostly to make money and to profit off the volume that we have to resell their NFT. However, by giving the utility to our employees, sorry, not our employees, but to our current customers first, even if there's definitely Web3 enthusiasts around our casinos that will go there physically, but it's like we'd rather that the liquidity that gets injected on the secondary market pushes the people that aren't already Web3 friendly to go into it, rather than the people that already know the values of Web3. Because I'd much rather give the experience and the opportunity for someone who's never been into Web2 to buy his first NFT and get like a 5-6x and be like, "Whoa, this is amazing," and discover the whole universe, rather than have him like have to buy on secondary market and and like have like realize that he's been like dumped on by some, even though I'm pretty sure that the dump is very unlikely, but yeah, no, it's just it's mostly in the mindset of really pushing the existing community to come and join the Web3 and discover Web3 through our establishments. So like we called our company Partouche Multiverse, because we don't want our thought is that like it's not so much like, for me, what really changed the game with the metaverse is not so much the technology itself, but it's the change of mindset that the technology like enables. So like, since blockchain is what's given me the ability to like see like things of every day that you can gamify, or just through a different story that you can create value in areas that people didn't necessarily that they overlooked, for example. But so like one aspect that we want to build on is really that gamification of the physical world, as if like in the same mindset, like, well, and this is what my dad said to me, it's like, but our ecosystem is already a metaverse, it's just in the physical world. And I remember I think there's this term that people use, which is like meat space. So like that the world is meat space, but the main point is that, so we really want to find ways of gamifying and wallet connecting as much establishments and areas as possible. So one idea that we've been exploring, and like I'm pitching this to you kind of in a this is like a premiere that we're pitching this idea, but like I can't promise that it'll be early in the roadmap, but we're definitely exploring ways of getting that available, and setting that up on a national level. But it's like we want to create systems where people can like kind of have quests between our different establishments, and based on the quest that you manage to fulfill, you would be able to win utility. So in a way, it would be similar to Pokemon Go, but in Pokemon Go, you don't win any incentive, you don't win anything. And if I can make you physically, like Pokemon makes you walk around your city, but if I'm making you walk to strategic locations, I can actually make you make money, or not money, but at least you gain utility from different like even partners as well, through you actually walking around playing that game. And so imagine like that you could, for example, if we said to you like if you managed to like we could do, for example, a POAP token that you would be available in all our casinos that you could buy, that would give like a small utility only in that casino. But then similar to Pokemon, like the real Pokemon this time, you would have to go to like every arena to collect the badge until you can unlock, for example, could even be a specific salon in one of our hotels which is only available to Jokers, or access to a specific event, or which is only for VIPs, or whatever. We're really open to like exploring all the different alleys of brainstorming with our community. And we know that like we've seen that all the projects that try to like impose a roadmap or impose a vision or impose the way it should be have like collapsed against the wall. So we have ideas of where we want to go, but we know that like building that with the community is the only way you can truly like get it on the market. So we're not fixated. We know that we're willing to change very quickly and to adapt to wherever this market goes, and that's why we didn't want to like we didn't want to give too much of what we were doing and say, oh, we're going to develop this in 5 years and come invest on this deck. Nah, that's not the way we were going to do it. Like most of these NFT projects, they see the they see the mint as the final destination. Once they've sold out, they've done what they have to do. But for us, it's like it's the point of start. Like that's where we start. That's why we had also a very low price of mint, because I can tell you guys with almost certainty that intrinsically the value that we're going to be giving based on the mint that we have is much greater. But we've understood that if we show to the community that we believe in what they do, like that's when they bring back. Like I'd much rather have like a pushy mindset and like push the FOMO and have people in the mindset of loving the project rather than like cash grab the liquidity and then nobody's on the community or active. And I think that's also a vertical that's important, is that you really have to see the mint as like the beginning of your project. That's because like like for us it's just simple. Like if I'm giving like why would I give like in casinos especially, the lead is extremely expensive, but why would I give like 150 euros to Google or Facebook to generate a lead when I can give it straight away to that final lead in value and he'll come? And that's what Web3 is. It's like you're removing the middleman even in advertising, and you can give the value straight to your community, and they'll go talk about you. They'll come to your casino or wherever, whichever establishment you operate, and it allows you to really build that bridge with them. And yeah, so we're doing our event in Forge les Eaux, as we were saying, and we'd love to have you if any of you guys are in France, and to meet and talk. And yeah, so is there anything that you want to add, Jordan?
I don't know if you can hear me, but for me, you said everything, and it was very great. Maybe we can focus about the storytelling if you want a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Families?
Yeah, yeah. So exactly. So each family represents a state of mind, and so I briefly went over this, but there's the architect, the artist, the player, and the degen, and or the builder if you prefer. But we really see that like I mean, it's. I wouldn't say that it's like that we can. I don't know if we can encompass every single person in the Web3 space, but we tried to go as large as possible to like target the different demographics of people that are in Web3. So there's the builders, which are like, in our opinion, all the people that are like actively finding ideas. Like Laurent. Laurent actually could fit in several categories. So that's a tricky one, but but he's definitely a builder as well. And yeah, it's like people who are thinking of that new world and thinking of ways in which they can create utility. And like in a way we're kind of saying like, guys, we're opening the doors to our ecosystem. Like we don't really have any limits in terms of where of what's possible, because we don't know where this space will go. And I mean, when I say we, I say even all together, because like I like the space is like evolving so fast that by the time you think you understand what the metaverse or what like NFTs are, there's already something proving you that it's the opposite of what you thought. So that's really like something that we like, and we've understood that we have to stay in continuous like improvement based on the circumstances, and we can't just like fixate a plan of 3 years and say, oh, that's exactly how it's going to go. Even though we do have like the big concepts that we want to implement into our ecosystem, such as the blockchainization of all the ticketing, all the hotels. And our goal is to really build this with our community. So like, for example, you could imagine the builders organizing being kind of like ambassadors and organizing Web3 events in all our establishments whenever they feel like it with the local communities. You could imagine the OG artists organizing more artistic events, or maybe NFT expositions, or NFT like showcasing the creation of art or anything of the sorts. You could imagine the Gamblers Club having exclusive poker tournaments just for them, or creating like games or competitions between them in our physical establishments. And the degens, there's no rules. So hopefully we'll write them together.
That's right. That's right. And let's show some NFTs.
Yeah, so also what we did is that we didn't for each family we didn't just make it that it like it was the color or it was just most NFT collections just make one attribute that creates like the distinction of the family. But we really went deep on the graphic designing. We had actually started a whole 3D collection that took us like 4 months to do. And one day I just woke up and I was like, nah, like this 3D art just isn't gonna cut it. So we had to restart everything, and that's why they really like made attention to detail. So each asset is revisited based on each category. So as you can see, for example, the spades has the like a spades collar. The hearts they all have the color in the shape of their family, and I'm not sure it's all of them, but a great majority of the graphic assets are like made specifically for each family or readapted for each family. So even if it's the same technical like let's say asset, it's going to be shaped or rearranged for the family. We didn't just make a basic algorithmic collection that just layers the same one. Like there's a team of 8 graphic designers that have spent quite a long time like asking themselves all the questions and exploring all the different possibilities. And I personally love the art, and I think it's good. I personally, to give you guys the whole reason why we made it 2D and not 3D is because if we want the community to use the intellectual property of their Joker, it's much more easy and accessible to use a 2D character, whether it's for a logo, to animate, or anything of the sort. And and in my opinion, they just look doper. Yeah, and Jordan, I think I'm good. Huh? It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure presenting the project.
Perfect.
And if for any of you that want to contact me on LinkedIn to talk about gamification or any crazy ideas that they have, it would be my pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Ulysse and Jordan, for this presentation and your enthusiasm, your approach. Also, it's unique, and it's what I really encourage, bringing the in real life business to Web3, and Web3 contributing to in real life
We're
business.
ready in the metaverse. We're ready.
Yeah,
In the metaverse.
exactly. And clearly, it's just a beginning. See you soon, guys.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy your day.
Have a
Thanks,
good day.
Laurent.
Thanks
And
again
thanks
for
to the
your
community.
contribution. Bye
Pleasure.
bye.
Bye, Laurent.
Bye.